Rogers collision here. It's a little bit of what we've seen from Rafa throughout the whole tournaments going back a few years.
All right, Ronnie, we're live now, buddy.
All righty.
Some of this here in Miami. I'm not sure I've ever seen.
All right, guys. This is the second edition of the SFL Podcast. I'm Andy Hamilton, the interim head coach for LA, and I'm joined today by Mr. Damon Simeon, the owner of the Houston Hyenas, and Ronnie Nickens, the owner of the Las Vegas Gamblers. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, Ronnie?
I'm blessed. Doing great.
Good, man. I'm glad to have Ronnie on, Damon, because we always hear from a lot of these owners, and Ronnie's kind of a guy who will sit back in the background, and then every once in a while he'll pop out and drop a gem. And so I feel really lucky to have him on the show today.
Right. Ronnie's a class act. He's a class act man and a guy who has a lot of knowledge. It's always good to hear him speak.
Yeah, so we're very blessed. Very blessed to have Ronnie with us today. All right. You guys ready for this? We got
ready.
We got two viewers, and I'm going to try and keep track of the chat for all of you who are listening live. So if you add anything in there to the chat, I should be able to see it, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. It looks like Heath's in there now. So if you guys have questions, comments, anything you want us to be sure we touch on, just make sure to put that in the chat, and we'll get to that. With that, Damon, Ronnie, you guys ready to get started with this thing?
I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's talk about some of the results from last week. Damon, pick a starting point for me. Which game do you want to start with?
Starting from last week.
Yeah, which game you want to talk about first? Probably, let's have you pick from the three on Sunday. So you got Vegas and LA, Atlanta and Queen City, and Tallahassee and Sioux Falls. Who you want to talk about?
Let's talk about that Tallahassee-Sioux Falls matchup, man. I mean, you can't bypass that game there due to what Sioux Falls was able to come out with.
Yeah, I think quietly one of the more shocking games from the weekend. Sioux Falls upends Tallahassee 52-24, which puts kind of a wrench in the Eastern Conference when you're thinking about it. Ronnie, did you get a chance to watch this game, buddy?
I did get a chance to watch it, and I'm kind of surprised that Tallahassee didn't win that game. But that didn't look like Tallahassee this past week.
Yeah, I think Ronnie brings up a fair point. You know, Tallahassee really in the East was just kind of running away with the conference, and then all of a sudden, you know, you go into this Sioux Falls matchup, and Sioux Falls puts a knocking on them. Damon, what do you think this kind of does for the rest? Because technically the number one seed is not locked up. Both these teams have playoff spots, but Damon, how do you think the East is going to shake out in terms of how these final two teams are going to end up?
Hey, you know what? You just never know with the SFL, man. This means that you have to go out there and just, you know, game plan to the best of your ability, as I always say. You know, Sioux Falls showed that they can beat the best team in the league with only two weapons on offense, and that's hard to do in this league, man. You know, they went with a team build that a lot of us wouldn't have never thought about going with, and would have never even, you know, tried to even see if it would work. But hey, hats off to Jason, man, because his team put up big numbers against a great team in Tallahassee.
Right. That's a very fair point. A build that a lot of people, myself included, you know, wasn't 100% behind. I still am not 100% sure if it's the, you know, one of the premier builds that we see in the league right now. But hey, they're making it work, and you know, it's at 7-3. They're right on Tallahassee's heels. So I think that just goes to show, like you were saying, can't take any weeks off. And that was a big one for them that they, you know, really kind of dropped the ball on for Tallahassee, and they're going to have to continue to pick it up if they want to hold on to that number one seed. All right, Ronnie, your turn to pick, man. You got a choice between your and my game or Atlanta and Queen City. Which one you want to talk about?
let's just go with our game.
You want to talk about our game? All right, you can go ahead and start it off then, sir. What would you like to say?
The win did not surprise me.
Okay.
I expected to lose. And
Okay.
I know that's something shocking to hear, but in this, because I've been looking at a trend that has happened this year in the SFL.
Okay.
And if you're at home, you got a pretty good chance of winning.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You know, the home and away advantage is one that we look at every year. I think if you want
this year, I think it's really stronger than it's ever been in the SFL.
That's a fair point.
Home field advantage is very strong this year in the SFL. So when we were going down the field and we went down and we were in position to score.
Uh-huh.
I didn't expect to score. I said something's gonna happen because this team is at home, and I'm not gonna be able to do anything with that. Sure enough, that's what happened, and it really didn't surprise me. But boy, am I happy to see these last 3 weeks, because if I'm right, I should be sitting in a pretty good position for the next 3 weeks.
That's a fair point with the playoffs, moving forward. You're right in that position. You're still in it. I mean, the West is kind of up for grabs, and it was a very good game, 14-10. If you didn't get to see it, LA defeated Vegas in Los Angeles, like Ronnie was talking about. Damon, did you get a chance to see this game, man?
No, I haven't got a chance to see it. But trust me, I will take a look at it tonight, though. It sounds like, actually, you know what? I did catch some glimpses of it. I was in church, so I didn't get a chance to catch any of the afternoon games or whatnot. But I did catch a few glimpses because I did sneak on my phone. I did sneak onto Rabbit and see what,
Oh, man.
See if I give me just a little fix, just a little fix.
Just a little bit. All right. Well, I thought it was a good game, Ronnie. For that token, you guys did give us a pretty good run for our money. I got nervous there at the end. I'll be honest with you. I'd done a lot of work, and I kind of was 50-50 on Mexico City, and I thought we had a decent chance to beat you guys. And so when I was watching you guys drive that final ball down, I was getting a little nervous there. I'll be honest with you.
Well, maybe you were. It was good. It's good to have that little nervous energy, but for me, I was not confident that we were going to score. I really just thought exactly what happened is how it was going to go down. I said, because, and if you watch really a lot of the games that went on last week, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them at home won except for one.
Right.
So we'll have to see. So I'll be looking at this week very closely, because now this week I'm expecting to win.
Okay. That's good then.
And all I'm going on is the home field advantage thing. And besides that, my team plays a lot. For some reason this year, they play different when we're at home.
I mean, it's a fair judgment. And I think a good reference to that is Alaska's build. I think they were prepared to play a lot of snow games, and they, have only played, I think, one to this point, and we'll get to their game, Damon. So just hold your anger back for a minute on me.
Right, because I got something to say on that too. So I'll hold that.
Let's touch on Atlanta and Queen City before we get there. All right, Atlanta fall into Queen City. Queen City keeps themselves alive, 38-28. Queen City on top. I caught a little bit of this game, but not as much as I would have liked. From a final score standpoint, I'm surprised to see Queen City scoring 38 points. I mean, let's be honest. Carolina kind of played well against them, and so Atlanta, I'm a little surprised to see him giving up 38 points, especially in the heat of the race in the East. Damon, did you see any of this game?
Yeah, I caught a small glimpse of it, man. But this was a good game, back and forth scoring and going on, and some great offense. Not much good defense going on between both teams. But and like you say, I'm surprised the way how Atlanta did allow Queen City to put up 38 points on them, which is uncharacteristic for Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I mean, going into this playoff race, these are the games that matter because these are tiebreakers in division, So I think it's something interesting to look at. Atlanta, I don't think, is the strong team that we thought they once were, and so we're going to have to see how they play over these last couple of weeks. We'll go quickly to the chat. Demond, AJ wants to know if you're wearing your prison stripe shirt. And then
No.
Heath is saying that Ronnie's dog is trolling the podcast. So that's what SFL Nation is giving us.
My daughter, her children just left out the house, and he gets very upset when his company leaves.
All right. Well, all right, let's move on to the called games. We'll start with Cam's call on Sunday night. Mexico City rolls 32-17 over Oklahoma City. Ronnie, did you get to catch that game?
I got to see a little of it. I didn't get to see. I don't think I got to see all of that, but I am so impressed with what they're doing with the Aztecs,
right?
And how he's getting them on track at the right time. This is that's a scary team right now to have to play, whether you're home or on the road, because he seems to have picked up at the right time, and
yeah.
It's a scary team to play.
Yeah, I think, we're talking, and I got the graphic up here so everyone can see the scores and not my ugly mug. I think we're making a good point. Mexico City's getting hot at the right time, and they got a few games left, so they're still, not necessarily where they want to be, but they're still climbing. I talked to Ramos, I think it might have been today or last night. He knows that there's still a couple games left that could really decide where they're going to sit in this Western Conference. So a good win for them. I believe that was a tornado warning gate. Was that not, Demond?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. Yeah, there was a tornado warning game.
It was a very trying time. We all were hoping that Cam was all right. And I talked to Cam on the phone. He was saying that his dad called him in the middle of it to quote unquote, make sure they were okay. And he was joking. He said he probably was just hoping that the power would go out and it would erase that pick six.
Right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have if it was my team, I would have wanted that pick six erased too. So
yeah, I'm sure. And that's why we put the rules together, for fire alarms and tornado warnings, right?
Yeah.
So Mexico City will grab the win there. Let's head on to the big game for Damon. Alaska inches it out in the snow, 23-21. Damon, talk to me about what this game felt for you, because it's got to be gut wrenching.
Well, when the game first came on, I was like, "Holy crap, snow!" I mean, a team being from the South, deep in the South, where we're used to warm climate weather,
right.
Not only warm but hot weather, So, man, that game there. I mean, if you go back and you watch that game, and on that first drive from Alaska, you would see a lot of DBs for Houston was just slipping, and they were sliding all over the place trying to turn around and knock down balls and so on. So it was very uncomfortable for the entire team. You know, we had the wrong spikes on with the cleats. So hey, but Alaska came to play, man. They won the game. They played a phenomenal job. They game planned well. So you know, we can't take that away from them. But I wish that we would have played better defense on that last drive. We would have had the win.
A very close game. You know, I mean, we talked about. Ronnie was talking about earlier with the home field advantage. I think that's something Alaska tried to play to this season with their build a little bit. I'm interested to see what they do in the summer season when the temperatures will be warmer.
Yeah, that would be nice to see.
Because I think it'll change their build. To be honest with you, I think the 2 tight ends and the gold running back, I think, is a product of, you know, if it's going to snow, we're going to pound the ball down your throat. And, you know, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do when they don't really have as much snow. I think it can still, if I'm thinking correctly, I think it can still snow in Alaska in the summer, but I don't think the odds are as high.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting to see what Alaska does with that bill. I think they will have to make some changes. If they don't, more power to them. But it may just be this year they ran into a good spot to be coming into the league.
It's very possible. All right, let's move to the last game. Carolina down 6-0 at the half to St. Louis, scores a 35-0 difference in the second half. Did you guys watch this game? Because I watched it live, and I, even as a former Skyhawk staff member, was absolutely jaw to the ground.
Yeah, same here. I watched the game. The game was awesome by Carolina, to speak. And, I mean, that offense, man, looked very, very impressive and very, very dangerous. Defense looked phenomenal as well.
That was a game where home cooking paid off. Their fans feasted on home cooking, and they enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, and it was a very good game. You know, at the half, it looked like it was going to come down to which defense could hold the points off the board, and then by the end of the game, you're going, well, where was St. Louis's offense? You know,
Right.
A good battle from St. Louis. Their first half was strong. You know, I was watching the first half, and I thought, oh, no, St. Louis is going to score more here in the second half, and this one might get out of hand. And then back comes the Skyhawks, you know. So all credit to Shan and Colin and Dwayne. You know, a good matchup. The scoreboard, I don't think, tells exactly how that game went. And the Skyhawks stay alive in the East, man. They're still fighting.
They're still there.
So another team I think might be, you know, getting hot right at the right time. And so, you know, speaking about the East, let's go ahead and move on and talk about the standings in the East a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen here so we all can kind of look at what the standings are looking like. There we go. We should be able to see it now. Tallahassee, 8-2, is holding the lead in the conference. They have their playoff spot locked down. Not in first. They're in the playoffs, though. Sioux Falls also in the playoffs at 7-3. And then the final 2 spots up for grabs. Right now, Baltimore would sit in it at 5-4, and Queen City, getting the win, would be in there at 4-5 with that tiebreaker over Atlanta that they just grabbed. Atlanta would be 5th at 4-5. Then you got Carolina at 3-7 would be 6th, and St. Louis 2-7 in 7th. Ronnie, let's throw it to you first, man. What jumps out at you here, and what are you thinking that this is going to shake up in the next week or two?
Well, going on my theory of home field, it's going to really which one of these from 4 through 5, which one have home games left, if any of them. If there's some home games I'm gonna look at those teams and say they got a pretty good chance of showing up their a playoff spot.
Right.
If you gotta go on the road, it's gonna be a different story. Not to say you won't play good, but you're gonna come on the short end, I believe.
It's a fair point. Damon, what about you, man? What jumps out at you?
I can see this starting with this week. Baltimore can go up in the rankings as they host St. Louis this week. And
they at home, Damon.
Baltimore is at home versus St. Louis. And then you have
a good chance.
Yeah. So they have a good chance, to get a win there and build momentum and confidence within themselves, if they pull out that victory versus St. Louis there. But other than that, man, the East look pretty tight and shaky. You got Baltimore 5-4, Queen City at 4-5 that are pushing and back to back on one another for that spot.
Mm.
It's a busy race in the East. I think it was something that, going into last week, we were kind of on the edge of our seat. Mighty and I were kind of thinking, there needs to be some dominoes falling to keep this thing interesting. And boy, did they fall in Queen City and Carolina getting their wins.
Yeah.
And even to that point, Sioux Falls picking up the win.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't secure first place for Tallahassee, because now those two are going to be fighting. That home field advantage could get very interesting, like Ronnie was saying in the conference finals, if everything were to fall according to seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as Atlanta is starting to get these wins, confidence is coming in, momentum is starting to build within the team and the organization as well. Tallahassee hosts Atlanta, not this week, but next week. I mean, not Atlanta hosts Tallahassee, so then that home field advantage can go into place as well there. Hey, Atlanta they probably can win out, man.
Not impossible.
It's
not impossible.
Yeah.
I think, really it's a little bit farther apart, a little bit more spread out, but I think it's still anyone's game in the East.
They're spread out. They're spread out, but it's really, I mean, they're more spread out, but nothing's really decided there either. Nobody got a lock on nothing.
Right. Yeah.
That can be turned around too.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. Now we're all in the Western Conference, so we're kind of speaking out of our element. Let's go ahead and head to the West and look at that, and we'll try and give an unbiased view, but I don't know how that'll work. Alaska in their win moves up to 6-4, so they're up at the top right now, and then Houston will fall one spot to 5-4, still in second, still in the race. Dallas will be third at 5-4, and then Mexico City, because they won the game between them and LA, are ahead in fourth at 5-5. And then it goes LA, Las Vegas, and Oklahoma City are the three on the outside looking in right now.
Yeah.
Damon, you're in the playoffs. First of all, how does it feel?
It doesn't feel as good at number 2 than it would be at number 1, because if you're at number 1, you still have room enough to fall. But when you're at 2, you don't have much room to fall down, So I really can't take a loss this week versus a very good team in Mexico City. Just got to go out and play great defense against that team there and just let your dominoes fall, however they fall. But it's always good to be in the playoffs, because you're a step closer to getting that championship, and that's what we play for.
And do you feel that Deion Hawkins' production needs to kick up a little?
I would say that he has improved during the second half of the season.
He hasn't improved, but because of the tightness of the race at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, You don't want to be going back. You want to be going towards the top. And in order to control it, you're going to need just a little more out of him.
Yes, most definitely. As the face of the franchise and the workhorse of the team, that player has to produce more. You know, after we saw what Mexico City did against not Queen City, but Oklahoma City with 2 pick six. You know, that was ran back. So that way you don't want to put the ball in the air as much. You know, you want to keep it on the ground and just wear that defense down. So that's pretty much where we're going with that.
I'm sure you still want to keep your confidence in Cody Cantrell, your quarterback. You don't want him to lose confidence. So you still want him to throw that ball around with confidence and but you want more pinpoint accuracy out of it.
Right, most definitely. We don't want to have, you know, bonehead plays, but we do want to keep that confidence in that, and him confident within himself as well. Right. You know, you don't want the player to come down on himself, because once he does that, man, and he's played in fear, it's not going to be good for him, your team, you know, in the game itself.
And I got one more thing I want to say. And I love this wide receiver, Dr. Sam. This is the time Dr. Sam usually pick his game up. So
yeah, you're right.
I mean, this if he gets that hot hand, oh man, this could be trouble for the West.
Yeah. A very great player. He seems to come around always at the end of the season or so, but we'd like to see a little bit more out of him as well, you know. But hey, you just have to take it one game at a time. You know, that's all we can hope for, man. Just one game at a time, and just hope that we can come away with some wins here.
Well, and looking at the one game at a time mantra, you know, Ronnie, you're sitting on the outside in. What do you think needs to improve? I mean, obviously, you need some dominoes to fall near the top. You need Houston, Dallas, Mexico City, and LA to start losing some games. That would probably help. But on your end of things, what are you looking for out of your team? I mean, obviously, you got your home field advantage that you're looking for the next couple of games. What production changes do you need, though?
Really, defensively, I need Rick O'Reilly to really be the monster in the middle. Right. If I could get him at least 2 or 3 sacks in a game, and he controlled that middle, that could be very helpful to us. If we can utilize Cesar Cannon a little bit more, I think in the last game we did go to him more than we have in the past, and we've got to have Starbuck, Flynn Starbuck up his game. He's not really having a bad season, but he got a lot of room to up his game to to kind of help push us over the top. And the same thing with from our running game. We just need Overstreet to be Overstreet. He's been a little under performing this year, but next year I think I'm going to look more so to see how I can get him to be a more effective way of using him.
Right. Still anyone's game in the West, though. No one's out of it.
Right.
I think it's going to come down to these last couple weeks. And I was telling Cam, I'm grateful to be on a bye because I just kind of get the pleasure of sitting around and watching what falls, because the odds are someone's going to lose one of the games in the top 4. And when that happens, boom,
right,
be right on in there.
All we looking for is those that's in front of us. I'm not wishing nothing bad against you, but I hope somebody break a leg and we can say we're sorry for you. We'll just move on in.
Hey, Mike Tatum, he's got his legs well rested. They're not going to break, buddy. They've been waiting all season for this opportunity, and they're going to run their full rank. All right? All right, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to this coming week because, I mean, like we talked about, I'll be on a bye, so I don't really, besides the game I'm calling, I'm not really invested too heavily in any of these games. I would rather have all the games in the West. Everyone just loses, no matter who they're playing or what's going on. If everyone in the West would just lose, that would be great. Obviously, that can't happen. It's going to start tomorrow night, Saturday night, a little Saturday night special. What do you guys feel about that? Mr. Sim, your team, man, Houston, Mexico City, an incredible game, one of the best of the entire week on tomorrow night with Eric on the call. 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Damon, talk to me about some of the game planning that went in because Ramos can't do any changes now. even with the time change, he's late.
Yeah, you're right. And so I guess I can just steal a few eggs or nuggets or whatever. But no, we went with a defense that we believe that will match up well versus Mexico City. I mean, you can't take anything away from Mexico City, man. They have one of the best teams in this league. Great quarterback in Matt Wilson. But to be honest with you, I'm like Mr. Ronnie there. I kind of fear this team, as I told Cam a couple of weeks ago. So that this is one of the teams that I fear. I haven't beat this team since season 6. And that says a lot about the owner, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator over there in Mexico City. Those guys has done their due diligence to make sure that they beat Houston.
And the thing the man's gonna have to overcome is being on the road this week.
Exactly. I'm watching a sim right now. I'm playing against Mexico City. My team just fumbled and they just ran it in for a touchdown. So there you go.
They've been playing great. They've been playing great ball, and so it's going to take that extra effort in order to overtake them because you're battling two things. You're battling that team. You're battling their home and them being at home.
Yeah,
right.
So
that's a fair point.
Those things are in their favor, and so the team coming in to play mean they got to up their game just another level because in order just to be able to compete. So it should be an interesting game tomorrow night.
Yeah, both teams need this win, man, to stay in the playoff hunt.
Both. I mean, we're the West is just so tight that win, that loss looks bigger than what it normally would because everything is so clustered up, and now win or loss can either take you up, put you out, and so
I think this week is the biggest week for the West because it's so, like you say, it's so tight. So many teams are one win of being out in the playoffs. One team is being one loss out of the playoffs.
I agree.
So it can either go any way. I mean, who knows? Some teams lose, then LA can creep on up there with their 5-5 record.
Right.
In there. So it's going to be very, very rocky this week, man.
And I think this game's even more important because I'll put it this way: Mexico City and Alaska have split their season games. Mexico City won 1, Alaska won 1. If Mexico City wins, they are going to improve here to 6-5. If Alaska were to lose, they would fall to 6-5, and then I can't do the math now because I'm not good at math, first of all, and second of all, that's a lot to do on the fly. It would go to point differential.
Right.
Yeah.
And who knows who's winning that? In 1 week, Mexico City could move from not being, or in 2 weeks, excuse me, they could move from being out of the playoff race to being number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Right now, getting that 6th win is a big plus in anybody.
Right.
It's anybody's no matter what position you're in.
So an incredible game. I think Eric's perfect for the call, man. He's excited, and he's been improving every week. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to listen to him yet.
Oh, I have. As a matter of fact, I'm impressed with all of you guys.
Thank you.
It's a good plus for the league. Who knows? I might even give it a try.
Oh, here we go. Speaking into existence. All right.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yes,
as it says in the good book, call things that is not as though they were, my friend.
Amen. I hear you.
All right. The podcast is getting biblical now. All right. Let's move on to the Sunday game. Speaking of church, take it to Sunday. St. Louis, Baltimore, right? All right. Ronnie, who do you got in this one, man?
I'm Baltimore.
You got Baltimore?
It is hard. I have such a conviction for this home field thing. I am not gonna go against it. That's the way I feel, right? I mean, I'm strong, and I've watched the whole season, and right now, until I see a week where 4 of the teams lose at home, you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. I think, this is really
and besides, I mean, it has more than to do with that. But you're putting teams like Baltimore that have the ownership pedigree that they have, and they're at home. I mean, how can you go against that?
right.
I mean, it's in their favor as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I tell you what, it's almost St. Louis's last chance here if they're going to make a push this season for the playoffs. It's going to have to start in Baltimore. They had a good first half, last week against Carolina. If they could play 4 quarters worth of that, they might be able to turn some heads here. Damon, what do you think, man?
I don't see it happening this week. I mean, not to throw shade or fiery darts or whatnot, but I mean, Baltimore are who they are. Baltimore is a very good team, and you can't take that away from them. I don't think St. Louis has what it takes to beat a team of this caliber. Baltimore is a playoff team. No matter what, this team is going to the playoff. They showed it every year. I don't think Baltimore has not made the playoffs since they've been in this league.
That's a fair point. TJ always does a very good job of having his team ready.
Great job.
So I think, they're coming off a bye, I believe, and right at the right time. I think they're going to start getting hot. I think this is the first game that they'll kind of start hitting those dominoes over. I think they win this game, and then the other games will kind of get a little bit easier from here on out as they head towards the playoffs. I got Baltimore as well, so we'll just head on to the next one then. Oklahoma City and Alaska. Damon, you can start with this one, man. This is a West battle, so this is going to affect you guys.
I'm going with OKC. I want OKC to just do something just dirty to Alaska right about now. I need some help. So that's the way I'm picking. I'm picking to.
Well, Damon, I think all of us down on that standings ladder would love for Oklahoma City to win. I don't know if that means it's going to happen, but I think that's what we all were kind of hoping.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm taking Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City has a great defensive front, and they have great run defense.
That's a fair point. You know what? I think I'll take both sides here. I'll sit on the fence. I think Oklahoma City could win it, but they got to get Bovine going. I think Alaska's safeties are undervalued, and if they can kind of get Bovine going in the middle of the field, it's going to create opportunities on the outside and opportunities for the old man himself, Brewski, to start running the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I don't see it. I think Alaska is going to start their playoff push and continue it this week. I think they'll win another one. It'll be close, though. It'll be close.
It will be close. It will be close. Yeah.
Especially if their young rookie Justin Beakley keeps playing out of his head like he's been doing the last few weeks.
Right.
He has really, I think, helped take a lot of pressure off of them, whereas they would have had that pressure on them otherwise. And I think Oklahoma City, I'm in agreement that Pete Brewski needs, if Pete can come and control this game, yes, Oklahoma City can win this on the road. If Pete really comes to play, because I've been in the league a long, and Pete Brewski is a very talented back. He is
very talented.
He really hasn't shown us who he is this season, and it could be maybe some of the plays they're running him with this year. I'm not in position to say, but
I'm with you. I'm with you, Ryan.
But I do say that it's still a team to fear, because they can pull a rabbit out of their hat. But as I said, I'm so entrenched in this home field thing right now. I can't go against it. And with the way Alaska been playing even at home, I'm gonna have to stick with them for right now. But as I said, it wouldn't shock me if OKC won it.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point. All right, let's move on. Another two teams actually that are always both well prepared for the playoffs. Sioux Falls and Queen City. Sioux Falls, a team that's doing real well this season with an unusual build. Queen City, a team that usually starts a late playoff push. At least last season, we saw them really get out of the gate late and then start running over people when it came towards playoff time. What do you guys think in this one? Sioux Falls coming off the win against Tallahassee is looking strong. And Queen City, is kind of on the ropes, because I think they could probably afford to lose one if they had to. But they want this win bad. Damon, what do you think, man?
Yeah. Queen City most definitely needs this win, but I don't see it happening this week. Sioux Falls, man, is making some strong and serious noise over there as far as in that organization and in the East, letting teams know that, hey, despite that we only have two weapons on offense, we're going to continue to put up points. They put up 52 points against Tallahassee, which is a great team. That's
right.
I still can't psychologically conquer that in my head. It's just I'm still at awe. I can't believe it, man. But
let me ask you this, Damon. Let me ask you this. Tallahassee had already clinched their playoff spot. What do you think the odds are that E.T. King and the defense might have took their foot off the gas a little bit on accident?
This is the SFL. I hope they didn't do it. SFL don't let up off the gas, man. Trust me, I know.
That scoreboard and those two teams, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Now, I can see a close game. I can see this game being 35-33, somewhere in that area.
All right. Ronnie, tell me, who's at home in this one?
Yeah, Queen City's at home.
Uh-oh.
And I think Bowles is gonna really carry this team this week. I believe you're gonna see big. I believe you're gonna see big things from him and Jake Legacy, along with AJ Caswell. I believe this is usually when Queen City shows up. This team.
I mean, that's a fair point.
This team is battle tested. It knows how to win to make play and to get in playoff pictures. And so I'm not. And they got the biggest thing in the house. They're home. They're home. It's good to be home.
I'm going to ask you straight up then, Ronnie, because the chat's loving the upset alert that we just had on the Oklahoma City game. So I'm going to ask you straight up, Ronnie, are you taking Queen City in this game?
Yes, I'm taking Queen City.
Sound the horn. Sound the horn.
Clay, if you're playing at home, get ready. You got a good chance.
All right, he's calling the upset. He's calling Queen City over Sioux Falls. Well, I tell you what, the bye team, Tallahassee, would love that after they just dropped a game and it's getting closer there at the top. I'm sure they would love to see Queen City pull that one out.
Yes, they would.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Well, let's head then to Sunday night, 7 p.m. Carolina, who had the amazing second half last week, is back at home, taking on the Atlanta Swarm, who are, right in that thick of the middle where they're trying to fight for those last two spots. Ronnie, I know you like the home team. Are you picking Carolina then too?
Oh, now at least one team that's on the road usually pull a game out.
Oh, no, Ronnie.
And this may be the one. Atlanta over Carolina.
Hold on now. Let me get this straight. You're picking Queen City over Sioux Falls, and then you're going to tell me that Atlanta is going to beat Carolina, who's won 2 straight.
That's what I'm telling you.
At home. All right.
Only one team gets a win on the road, and that's the one I'm going to pick.
All right. Well, Ronnie's got Atlanta. I tell you what, I'm on the Carolina boat. I think Atlanta's, they're still trying to put their feet back on the ground after a good start to the season. And heading down to Carolina as per the last 2 weeks is probably not the best bet to get your feet back under you. I like Carolina in a close one here. Damon, tell me what you got.
I have Carolina in this one as well. I got to go with the good old coach. Not so fast, my friend. So Atlanta is hot, man. I mean, not Atlanta. Carolina is hot, dude. They seem to have something going over there these past few weeks.
They are.
And I tell you one thing, man. Johnny English looks great. He's running the ball, man, and he's putting that helmet right in the chest of those folks.
And that guy, right, Johnny English. Now, everybody may not remember or was even in that used to be my running back.
Yeah,
it was, Ronnie. I believe he
but he played nothing like that when I had him.
Ronnie, let me get you straight. You were the one who put him at 7'5" and 10,000 pounds. Is that right?
Hey.
That was you, Ronnie. It comes full circle.
Yes, it does.
Well, it's going to be a good one. I tell you that. I'm going to be there Sunday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. A great game for that one. And then we skip Monday we're going to let you guys have a night off, a night to catch your breath. And then we're going back on Tuesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Dallas is taking on your team, Ronnie.
Yep.
Now, you said earlier you expect to win this one.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm not hedging on this. I'm gonna end up 7-5? 7-5?
75 can make the playoffs. But I thought you were gonna take Dallas in this one though.
I'm gonna run the table. I'm not trying to brag, but that's how much confidence I have in what I believe on the home team having such a big edge.
Oh man,
not a big edge, but the edge as far as being able to pull out these tight games. And that's our team played tight games. I wish we'd blow somebody out, but we're built just to control the game. So if we can control this game, we can make the Roughnecks a loser this week.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you, Ronnie. I'm going to be dead set honest with you. I don't see it. I get that you're at home, and I see what you're saying, that one road team usually wins. I think Carolina's your home team that wins. I think Dallas pulls the upset, if you're going to call it that.
Yep. Hey, well, come on. You know I'm not going against myself.
I know you're not. I know you're not going to call it. I'm just being honest with you, Ronnie. I got to be transparent here.
That's just the way it is. I gotta pull for my guys. I want Mario to go crazy for these last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Damon, tell me what are you looking at in this game? I think, I mean, you've played both teams, haven't you? So you tell me who do you think is going to pull this one out?
I'm gonna go with LV. I'm gonna go with LV, and not because Ronnie's on the call. I'm going with LV due to that defense. Ronnie has he has the sack master at the D tackle in Rick O'Reilly. You know, if Rick O'Reilly can produce pressure on Mac Wavy, as we all know, Mac Wavy does not like pressure,
and has not. This has not been a really solid year for Matt. He did some good things, but he's not the Matt Wavy that we've seen seasons ago. He has not played up to that caliber. Now, if he was playing at that caliber, this would have just been a smackdown because Matt Wavy would have threw the ball all over the place. But
yeah,
I just don't. I see this game probably being something like 24-21, whoever wins.
I agree with you that it's going to be a 20-something close scoring game. But I'm taking Las Vegas on this one, Andy, due to the defense and the tremendous pressure that can be given by Rick O'Reilly. But now, you know, you can't sleep on Tika Bell. You know, he can ruffle the feathers of Mario Savage there as well. So
you got that right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this game can go anyway, but I'm taking Vegas on this one because I believe in that defense that Vegas has over there.
Tika Bell's no joke coming off that end, and
right.
We're gonna have to watch him or he'll be adding up his sack total. So we have to really keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damon, Ronnie or Ramos would like to point out that Alex Dominguez is the new sack master in town. 18.5 sacks for him this season. I think I'm with you. I'm with Ramos here. O'Reilly might have to give up that title, whether it's after the season or now. I think that belt needs to be exchanged.
Well, he got 3 games to go. He might have 3 sacks this game, 3 the next.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he might go crazy. So
that's what I'm saying.
Until the games are played, that's when we'll know. Until the season ends, he's still the title holder.
All right, so Ramos, you hear that. We're going to retain the name Sackmaster until the end of the season, and then we will trade it over.
Exactly. I agree with Ronnie on that.
AJ Levy wants it to be known that he as well picked Las Vegas to win that game. With that, we're not done. There's 2 more things I want to get to before we finish this one out. Last night, the State of the League address. I assume both of you guys had the opportunity to see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Those times.
Oh, twice. Damon's doing double work. He showed up twice. So we have talked about how we're moving from Slack over to the new form. Both of you guys, as owners, have got in the new form. I want to ask you guys both individually, and we'll start with you, Damon, then we'll head to Ronnie. You guys have had about 24 hours to play around in there. And I know, Damon, you said you were at work, and Ronnie had some trouble getting in. We fixed that for him. So you guys have been on there for about an hour and a half or so. Let me know, what do you guys think? Just go ahead and go through, and we'll start with Damon here.
I think the league is going to love it, man. I mean, because forums is what sports gamers had back in the 2000s, you know? Slack was great, but Slack limits you to a certain amount of things, you know? As the commissioners, stated last night, that this here is going to be a well-secured site for the league, which is great, but I love everything that we had in Slack is also right here. You have your who you got. You have your daily discussions. You know what I'm saying? Ask the commissioner is still there. So everything that was in Slack, it's going to be an easy transition. Now, yes, it's going to get time to get used to because we all had to adjust to Slack as well from Facebook. But the forum here, I love it a lot. I love it. I can't speak any more highly of it. Besides it, this is a great product, and you ask me, I think it's the best move that the SFL has did since they decided to buy sliced bread.
And for me, I
go ahead, Ronnie.
It's a great move. And kudos to Cam for always inventing excitement for us and making things better. This move will help the league. It helps secure us in a better fashion. And I think once we get in there and understand how things flow, it's going to be better, a lot better than Slack. Just as Damon said, this is something that's really it's been a popular venue for quite a while. And a matter of fact, the SFL had it at one time. I don't think it was this particular one, but to me it was still great then. So hats off to you guys for a great job you've done with setting it up. And I think all membership is going to really enjoy it.
And then another thing even if you're mobile, you can save this as one of your favorite links, on your mobile device, so it's not only that you only can be able to access the forums on your PC or on your laptop or MacBook or whatever. You're able to have it right at the palm of your hand from your phone, just by going to the website. And I do recommend that you do save the link into your favorites.
Amen.
Yeah, I think it's a great, move for the league. I was part of helping set up the forum, so I helped these two who were a little confused. I think, like Ronnie said, once we kind of learn the ins and outs, and once everyone's kind of back on track with how this, how to use this the same way that you use Slack, I think we'll really be set, for the future. And that's a big part of it, is Slack did its job, and it did well. And the thing is, we have to then realize, as we move forward in the next couple seasons, what is going to be our venue for seasons, not just for the next season or for 2 seasons. What is going to be our venue for years to come? And I think the forum is a great option. And I honestly, I just can't wait to get everyone else in. I know we have started the process of getting coaches in there. All owners are now in the forums. So they're starting some discussion. I know we had a playoff discussion started up there. And so everyone, my 2 cents are in there. So you can look forward to that for those of you who aren't there yet. And we're starting to get coaches in there, I think today, tonight, tomorrow. And then after that is Face of the Franchise. And then we're going to get the general public in there, starting with if you've ever made a call into the league's post-game show, anything like that. We really wanted to reward the people who have, been users around this community, verified themselves, made sure that they participated. Those are the people we want to make sure are doing well and are on our radar. And then after that, we'll open it up, and then everyone and anyone. And I think it'll be a good way to link your friends in and get more people involved, because it's real easy. You just click in and log up,
I agree.
So I think, and with that said, if anyone, is having trouble once they get over there, feel free to private message me over there. I showed Ronnie and Demond how to do that earlier. If you're having any issues, and I'll try and walk you through, what you're looking for. So that's the forms for us. And then the other thing Cam talked about, 3 more teams. Can you guys believe it? 3 more teams that you guys will have to compete with.
I love it. That's a great. It's going to be a great addition. I'm sure we're going to get some quality owners, and that's always a fun part of the off season, is really looking at presentations from different ownership groups and how they present themselves, and so I'm always look forward to that. And a lot of times that presentation is really a key, because it can lift you high, or it can sink you.
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
so,
that's a fair point.
I mean, because I'm going back to when our president came into the league, and how he presented his, it was off the hook. It was impressive to me, and I just couldn't believe someone would go through that to present them. And then it seems like it caught on, because I've seen other ownership groups try to use that model.
Yeah.
Using that imagination as to the pull favor towards your end is always a good thing. And and now it's really getting kind of hard to be coming in and moving right to our ownership. You got to. It's more so, what have you done to help us?
Yeah.
Right.
And those people in my I'm always looking at those people that that supported even when they weren't owners, and did great things for the league. So in my mind, they're already ahead of everybody else. So the other people just got to really up their game in order to knock one of them out of a position.
Right. And I think, excuse me, to that token, if you guys are thinking about applying for ownership, anyone watching this, whether it's live or later, if you're thinking about applying to ownership and you've never helped coach for a team, I would strongly suggest getting involved with a team. Talk to one of these owners and see what they can teach you, because these guys, I think, and Ronnie and Damon can let me know if I'm right or wrong, they want competition. They want these owners to come in and be competitive. And part of that, is knowing what works and what doesn't in the league, in terms of what plays and what plays don't work, what is really going to be a solid build, So when we look for these expansion bids, what they're looking for, I would assume, is someone who's got the pedigree and the experience as a coach. So if you're trying to apply, and I mean, Damon can probably attest to this, because he was one of the more recent owners to win his expansion. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago, Damon? 4 or 5?
That was season 6. Was when we came in, but I want to take it just a step back.
Sure.
Expansion teams that have came into this league has had success.
Yeah.
You take a look. Baltimore came in. Baltimore had great success when they came in, and then they added 4 more teams, which was Santa Fe, DC, Louisville, Tallahassee. all those 4 teams were in the playoffs, and they were expansion teams.
And speaking of the Louisville franchise, that the ownership of that team has had success going back to when we were were in our earlier years. He was a champion then, and then to bring almost the same identical people over to this league and put himself in the same situation, it's amazing to watch. And I have always admired him for the way he was able to do that, and it always puts his. It was sad to see him have to leave, but he's trying to make pro ball, so I can't knock him for that.
Right.
But for me, it was like going to a candy store. Okay, I'm glad you were here. I'll see you later. I'll pick up those guys you left.
I'll eat the leftovers. Leave those for me.
And be glad to do it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And Andy, to tally up behind you, my team had success coming into season 6. We finished the season at 7-5. Had 2 great playoff games. You asked me one of the 2 greatest playoff games ever by the SFL, and there are some great games here. Unfortunately, we made it to the championship game, and we lost to Queen City, which is a great team, in that championship game of season 6. But I want to say this to, the new owners or so, come in
ready to work.
Come in ready to work, and it starts off with your presentation, as Ronnie said. Your writing presentation. Andy showed me his last season when he came in. He had a great one. You want to do something between 250 words or so. Be detailed about it. Andy had a great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. You earned it. And as Ronnie said, Jermaine did a video, and his video was great.
It was.
And when I came in, I said, I have to do something like that, but I have to step it up a notch.
Right.
And I did the press conference, So
you had your suit on.
So,
look at all.
That was off the hook.
Yeah. Andy did one as well. So Andy, I really do hope that you go ahead and pursue that dream of ownership this season. I believe you will make a great owner and a great asset to our league, in which you have already shown by your play-by-play commentary, and also by doing these little shows. As I was talking to the commissioner earlier today, I was like, "Hey, you're going to check into the not inside the SFL, but the SFL insiders." He said, "Is that what we're going with?" I said, "I hope so."
Well, I don't think we put a name on it, and I wasn't trying to toot my horn there. I was more, I wanted to pick your guys' brains as owners for long times in the league. We value both of you in very, different ways. I mean, Ronnie has been an owner since nearly the beginning, and Damon coming in has expertise in terms of putting together a winning team quickly from an expansion team. So I wanted to, if both of you real quick I know you touched on the presentation, but if both of you, and Damon, if you want to make it a shameless plug for your uniform building, you can do that. That's fine by me. But if you both could just give the potential expansion owners, because I know I've seen a couple people have sent me their ideas, and it's going to be some stiff competition this year. If you guys would just want to give one little piece of advice to these new incoming potential owners, what would it be in terms of their bid?
Don't be afraid to pick the knowledge from those guys that are in other positions in the league now. They're willing to help you. They won't lead you wrong. If you ask something on how to do something, you're gonna get some of the quality knowledge on how to set your team up. if you look at any of these teams that have been on the top, they come in with quality bills. They understand how to build their playbooks. And some of them are just tenacious on defense.
Yeah.
I have none of those qualities, guys.
Well, and professional too. I think,
I love the league. I've been just like the Cleveland Browns since I've been in this league.
Oh.
But I love trying to put a team together, put people together. I'm not big on big staffs because I'm of the generational gap with me. If I can get someone level-headed and in the there's a halfway mark at least age-wise, I think I can communicate with such a person. But most younger people don't have the wisdom and knowledge and sometimes respect on how to talk or even get their points across.
And I think that's part of applying is being professional and being able to not only uphold your own account and your own username and name, but the league and a team. Because as an owner, you're representative of a group of 12 or in Carolina's case 30 guys. You need to be professional, and I think that's another reason that both of you stand out as such great owners. Stand out in terms of you stand out just as much as the rest of owners in my book. You know what I'm saying? Both very professional guys.
And by no means, especially for me, I can learn from anyone. I mean, you don't have to be my age. I can learn from a younger guy, but the younger guy for me needs to be more mature in order for me to be able to handle or understand him. That's just that's why on our staff I would probably have maybe 2 or 3 guys, if that, because I really want people I can depend on and people that's going to really support the league. Because we have had the situation they get on a team or they get in a league and then we don't see them. They're not around supporting. So it's good to have a big body of people, but if they're not really supporting, we really haven't accomplished our goal.
Yep.
We want them to be part and be involved in the league, and that's really where we differ from a lot of the leagues. Bar none, nobody can compete with us, and I'm not trying to put any league down, but we are by far one of the top sim leagues that's around bar none. And Cam does a great job of giving us the professional field, and I thank him for that.
Sure. All right, Damon, do you have any words for potential owners?
Yeah, like Ronnie was saying, come in, man. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Get the knowledge from other owners. When I came in by myself. I didn't have an offensive coordinator. I didn't have a defensive coordinator. I didn't even know how to present my playbook or even how to put it together. Now, I knew what plays I wanted to do. Yes, I know how to do that. But as far as how to present my playbook, I stepped up. I asked Destro for some help. Jermaine Smith, the president. I asked T-Pat for some help. T-Pat gave me a beautiful layout. and how it should look and so on and whatnot. And I just took that and I just revamped it and added my own little flavor to it or whatnot. But don't be afraid to ask help, man. You know, a lot of guys last season stepped out. Reached out to me and asked me for help. You know, you were one of them. Shane Verner was another. Who else wasn't? Colin was another who asked for help. You know, those guys who were the previous owners of LA, they reached out to me. You know, when they was running, trying to get that team or whatnot. So yeah,
right.
You know, there's one thing you can't do. The only dumb question in this world is an unasked question. You know.
There you go.
That's just simple as that. Don't be afraid to ask for any type of help at all. You know, it's like I love doing uniforms. You know, and I have no problem as helping anyone who would like, you know, me to just present to you, you know, what I can do for you. Or so just let me know. Give me your team colors. Give me your logo. Let me know what that is, and I'll put something together for you, and I'll shoot it to you. You know,
right.
Simple as that. Yeah. So.
Well, and in all honesty, guys, I'll kind of finish this one up with a little bit of my remarks. Then we'll give a last thing, and then we'll get out of here because I think we're close to hour and a half.
Yeah.
As an owner or as a potential owner last season who did not win the bid, my advice would be, you know, if you guys don't get it, do not get discouraged. Here's what you need to do: work harder. Whatever you've done for the league or for your team, do more. You know, if you've done scouting 3 days a week and you don't get the team, make it 6 days a week. You know, if you don't have a team at all, if you're not coaching, find a team, coach for it.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of these two gentlemen I've seen it multiple times in my, career here in the league. Both of these guys have taken coaches onto their teams and taught them, very good stuff. It pays off. Tim Johnston is also another good guy who I've seen take a lot of people under his wing. So learn from someone, and sometimes that takes a season, jump around, learn what you can from everyone like these two guys we're talking about, but coach for a team before you expect the opportunity to win the ownership. And do not get discouraged if you don't get it. All it means is that you got to work harder. And once you reach that level of working hard enough to own a team, if you're working for the league or for your team at the level that an ownership would be able to work, you'll be rewarded with the team. Trust me. And that's how I assume, it'll go for this year. If I end up applying, I assume if I'm working hard enough, they will give me the team, or if they don't, I need to work harder. Well, those are your two streets. So it all starts now. I think the submissions for expansion are due on the 18th, which is a Tuesday, I believe. So about 20 days or so, maybe 19 now, days to get your bid in. And so like these guys were saying, I know the DC Dragons video is still on YouTube. So if you're looking for some inspiration, go look for that. I know Max Paul, who's not on here, I had to go to his son's basketball game. He did a video last year. I did a video last year. So if you're looking for some inspiration or some ideas off of what was done in the past, or if you're looking for Damon's video, message us, whether it's on the new forums or on Slack. We will get you a link to those videos to share and inspire. You guys, any last words before we cut this thing off?
Well, I want to thank both of you guys. Enjoyed it immensely. I really enjoyed being on this podcast. So I want to say thank you to both of you. And as we go down this playoff run, I'm wishing both of you guys the best.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you. And for those of you who might not be listening back live, Mark Chisholm, he just got put in ownership last season for Atlanta with their expansion team. He has said if you don't have the game, go get it. That's obviously a big one, as both of these guys probably know. And then, AJ Levy says if you need the game, talk to him. He might be able to possibly help someone out. Damon, anything else before we get out of here, man?
No. Besides, everyone have fun this weekend. Watch some SFL and go Hyenas. So,
Hey, there you go. Ronnie and Damon are in action. Damon kicks it off tomorrow night with Eric Vincent on the call. Saturday night, we'll see you right here live on YouTube, 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
Peace.
Peace, guys.
Peace, guys. Take care.
Peace.